All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about something that, for any growing business, can be a real headache: financial reporting. We're going to explore how to take that chaotic mess of numbers and turn it into an incredibly powerful tool for getting real, actual insight into your business. Seriously, think about that for a second. Is it? Because as your company gets bigger, that simple accounting system that worked perfectly on day one, it can turn into a massive bottleneck. It can make it almost impossible to get the answers you need to make smart, fast decisions. So here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll start by digging into that common problem. Then we'll talk about the solution, which is all about tagging. We'll look at the tools you can use, how to get the setup right, which is super important, and then we'll wrap up with the big payoff. Okay, first up, let's talk about a pain point that anyone in finance knows all too well. I like to call it the chart of accounts explosion. When you're just starting out, everything's pretty simple. You've got a few accounts for sales, a few for marketing, maybe split by region. It's clean, it's easy to manage, it just works. But then the business grows, right? You start asking more detailed questions. You want to track sales by product. You want to see how much you're spending on a specific marketing campaign. So the solution seems obvious. Just add more accounts. But look what happens. It spirals out of control fast into this unreadable, unmanageable monster. And that leads you to this impossible question. How on earth do you get that three-dimensional view, profit by product, by region, and by campaign, without creating a chart of accounts that's a million lines long? There's just gotta be a better way. And, of course, there is. This brings us to the hero of our story today: financial dimensions. This is the really elegant solution to all that chaos we just saw. So, what in the world is a financial dimension? Honestly, the best way to think about it is just a tag, like a tag you'd put on a blog post or a photo. It's a custom field you create to add context and classify your transactions. You're not creating a new account, you're just adding a little descriptive label to your data. And this right here, this shows the transformation perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way, this tangled mess of trying to cram every little detail into one long, clunky account code. It's a nightmare. But on the right, look how clean that is. You have one simple account, product sales, and then you just apply these simple descriptive tags for the product, the region, and the channel. It's the exact same information, just organized in a way that's a million times smarter. So the big light bulb moment here is that we are separating the what, the general ledger account, from the who, where, and why, which are the segments or the dimensions. And that simple idea is the key to getting both simplicity and powerful insights. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at how the big ERP systems handle this whole concept. Now, the names might be different depending on the platform you're using, but the core idea is exactly the same. You'll see NetSuite calls them custom segments. Oracle might use something like organization hierarchies. In SAP, you'll hear about the cost center hierarchy. Don't get hung up on the names. They're all just different paths leading to the same destination: really granular reporting. Let's just zoom in on NetSuite's custom segments for a second, because it's a really great example of how flexible this can be. It lets a business design a reporting structure that isn't just generic. It can perfectly mirror how their unique business actually operates, whether that's tracking projects or product lines or anything else they care about. And that flexibility is everything. I mean, you can create dimensions for pretty much anything you need to track: region, product line, sales channel, a specific project. A nonprofit could even use a fund dimension. Each one of these gives you a brand new, powerful lens to look at your business performance. Now, and this is important, you can't just flip a switch and expect magic. A successful rollout is way more about your strategy than it is about the software itself. So let's talk about what it really takes to get this implementation right. This slide shows what might be the single most important decision you'll make when you set this up. In a system like NetSuite, it often comes down to this one little checkbox called GL Impact. Now, if you check it and turn it on, that tag becomes a true financial dimension. It posts to your general ledger, it shows up on your official P&L. But if you leave it off, it's basically just an operational tag, a sticky note for internal reports only. Understanding that difference is absolutely crucial. This quote from Houseblend.io just nails it. This is what it's all about. You get to dramatically simplify your chart of accounts while at the same time getting the super detailed reporting you've always wanted. It's really the best of both worlds. So, how do you make sure this actually works? Well, it comes down to three key things. First, you have to plan up front. Don't just make up segments as you go. Design them based on the business questions you're dying to answer. Second, you've got to govern your data. Decide who's allowed to add new tags so you don't just create a new kind of mess. And third, train your team. The best system in the world is totally useless if the data people are putting in is garbage. All right, let's bring it all home and talk about the real payoff. What do you actually get when you move from that chaotic old system to this new dimensional approach? Well, for starters, your chart of accounts becomes clean and simple again. And that means you have a financial model that can actually grow with your business, not hold it back. It means you can run a P&L by any dimension you've created. And maybe most importantly, you get clear answers to tough questions, which lets you make faster, smarter, data-driven decisions. Hey, remember that impossible question from the beginning? What was our profit on product B, sold through e-commerce in APAC last quarter? Well, with a dimensional system, that's not some massive week-long data pulling exercise anymore. It becomes a standard report you can run in just a few clicks. Now that is a transformation. So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. If you could slice and dice your financial data any way you wanted, what hidden stories about your business, your products, your customers, what hidden stories might you finally be able to uncover?